TalkingHills.com.
Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Nick Veland. As of Tuesday morning, Nationwide Children's Hospital has at least 26 children who are hospitalized with COVID. This number is up 6 from last week. 9 of them are in intensive care and 5 are on ventilators. The Columbus Dispatch reports that most of the cases in kids are unvaccinated or those who aren't old enough to receive the vaccine. Nearly 10,000 children throughout the state tested positive for COVID last week, and Ohio isn't the only state seeing an increase in alarm for children contracting the disease.
A push to protect young children as they return to the classroom.
We're not getting the support that we should be getting from our government in a moment of a health crisis. So we're doing everything that we can to educate our folks and make sure that they do the right thing.
According to new data from the American Academy of Pediatrics, children now represent more than a quarter of new weekly cases, a concerning number, especially for those under the age of 12 who aren't yet able to be vaccinated.
We kept our kids home last year to keep them safe from COVID, and we send them back into school, and within a month here we go. This is everything we try to avoid.
In Miami-Dade County Public Schools, district officials confirmed 13 school employees have died from COVID-19 since August 16th. All of whom were unvaccinated, according to their families.
84% of all of those who are currently hospitalized in Miami-Dade are unvaccinated individuals. The misinformation is having an impact in our communities, and it needs to stop.
This comes as a new Yale study finds that severe breakthrough cases tend to be in older people who also suffer from other conditions such as obesity or diabetes.
We knew a third immunization was in the cards, and then it's a matter of how quickly we're going to start seeing breakthrough infections and breakthrough hospitalizations, and I think we're reaching that point.
I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Athens County cases continue to rise as well. The county now has 855 active cases, which is up 53 from yesterday. 23 of those new cases are people below the age of 19. Ohio's redistricting commission is set to reconvene tomorrow to consider a map drawn by Republican state lawmakers. Ohio Senate President Matt Huffman says the commission will vote on a final version of the map Thursday afternoon. After Thursday's vote, the commission plans to hold 3 public hearings beginning as soon as this weekend, where Ohioans will have the opportunity to voice their opinions on the proposed map. The Athens County League of Women Voters are holding a virtual meeting to help inform residents on the upcoming redistributing process. The event will feature a speaker from the nonpartisan organization Fair Districts Ohio, a group working to ensure equitable representation within Ohio's legislative and congressional maps. According to the Athens County League of Voters co-president Adrian Mollenkamp, the meeting is meant to be informative and will work to explain the redistricting process and help interested Ohioans get more involved in the process.
Yeah, tomorrow's meeting is an informational public meeting about the redistricting process and what is currently happening with the redistricting commission. A lot about what are the transparency requirements and how citizens can be involved in giving their input to the redistricting commission.
If you'd like to attend tomorrow's 7 p.m. meeting, be sure to RSVP ahead of time. Information can be found at athensleagueofwomenvoters.org under the Events tab. Now over to Aaron with the weather.
Good afternoon. I'm lead forecaster Erin Ashley bringing you today's weather. I'd like to start off by mentioning that in West Virginia, in certain counties, there is a hazardous outlook right now due to the cold front that has just recently moved through our area. As you can see, it's highlighted by this kind of mellow yellow color. This means that These hazardous outlooks will include high levels of rain as well as wind. In Athens right now, it's 74 degrees, partly cloudy, humidity will rise, and we might see a pop-up shower as we head into tonight. Winds come from the southeast direction at 0 to 5 miles per hour. Across the region right now, 74 degrees in New Lexington, Marietta, Athens, and Ironton. It's going to be warmer to our west, 75 degrees in Columbus and Chillicothe, and then cooler to our east as rain has just moved through the area. Highlights looking up ahead, it's going to be very nice, ? I'll talk about this more in my full weather, but for now, back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Aaron. Ohio University rolled out its new diversity plan this semester. The plan was finalized in the spring after 3 years of planning by the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Will Price reports advocates for a diverse campus have concerns about the plan.
Ohio University hopes the new Inclusive Excellence Strategic Plan will strengthen diversity and inclusion across its campuses. But those that advocate for diversity on campus remain skeptical of the plan in its opening days. Ohio University professor Dr. Akil Houston says OU's efforts in diversity and inclusion have been inconsistent.
Efforts at diversity and inclusion tend to mirror the political winds of the moment. So there are times when we are very much interested, we want to do this, and there are times when we're not.
Houston says he thinks the plan is a good starting point, but the university should maintain a strong commitment to these efforts.
But I think we need to institutionalize some of these ideas so that we're not having the same conversation 5-10 years from now.
Dr. Gigi Sakubin is the head of the university's Office of Diversity and Inclusion. She says one of the plan's strengths is that it will be evaluated yearly.
Say it'll be a 5-year plan or it's a 10-year plan, and then at the end of that time, we'll review it and give you updates. But we thought it was much more progressive to be able to say, we're going to report on this plan every year.
Before she graduated this past spring, Betty Miller had several meetings with OU's administration while they developed the plan. She says the NAACP's student chapter created a presentation of their expectations and hopes. While several of those points appear to be in the plan, Miller says she hopes the university can improve their efforts.
Because at the end of the day, no student wants to come in and have to fight for visibility at OU. It's people who should be hired to do that for the student.
For Newswatch, I'm Will Price in Athens.
The plan, including what initiatives the university is planning for the rest of the year, is on the website for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Shawnee State University is now ready to move forward with plans to update the Clark Memorial Library. The State Controlling Board approved the release of $2.3 million for work at the university last week. The Ironton Tribune reports the project has several components, including HVAC work and replacing lighting in lecture halls. The board also approved more than $150,000 to support campus safety at the university. The campus safety comes from $5 million in campus safety grants being sent to schools across Ohio. 7 new charter schools are looking to open up in West Virginia, according to the chairman of West Virginia's Professional Charter School Board, Adam Kissel. The Charleston Gazette-Mail reports the new schools would include 3 statewide online schools and 4 brick-and-mortar schools. This comes after legislation passed earlier this year, allowing the state to level charter board to approve brick-and-mortar charter schools, even against opposition from local school boards. West Virginia has a new Teacher of the Year. Brian Castro has been recognized with the title last night during a ceremony in Charleston. As an 8th grade teacher at Milton Middle School, Castro teaches West Virginia history to his students. He says he creates lessons in 2-minute animated videos aimed at preserving the state's history and culture. Castro is now set to receive a car to use in Teacher of the Year activities, along with thousands of dollars in cash prizes. Berlin Heights community members mourn the loss of a fallen soldier. The new governor of New York prepares for the 20th anniversary of 9/11. These stories and more when Newswatch returns. Week 4 of Gridiron Glory marks the start of conference play for many teams around our coverage area. We'll be seeing highlights from Vinton County at Meigs, Trimble at Waterford, and John Glenn at Sheridan. All 3 games will show who will be lifting conference championship trophies in the TVC Ohio, TVC Hawking, and the MVL. These highlights and more on Gridiron Glory on Friday night at 11:30, only on WOUB.
This month in Passport on the PBS Video app, your on-demand library for the best of PBS.
What are you doing here?
Frankie Drake, private detective. I'm investigating a murder.
Ted opened up 70 donut shops.
They call me Donut King.
He gave Cambodian refugees a chance in America.
You really are stealing a frame out of life and saying, this is worth 1,000 words.
These and other shows from your PBS station are available with Passport on the PBS Video app. Download it today.
Before they were born, they lost their fathers in the tragedy of 9/11.
Why did he have to go to work that specific day?
They came of age in a time of social unrest.
It definitely took a toll.
Forged by loss and resilience, PBS traces 7 young lives as they carve their own paths in an ever-changing America.
I feel motivated to make a difference.
Generation 9/11 premieres Tuesday, August 31st at 9/8 Central, only on PBS.
Do you know your dad is the baddest man in the world?
Without any further introduction, Muhammad Ali.
He's young, he's handsome. They know it.
Never talk about who's gonna stop me. Well, ain't nobody gonna stop me.
I'm showing the world that you can stay yourself and get respect from the world.
He's 22 years old. And he's standing up to the whole establishment.
Wait till you see Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali starts Sunday, September 19th at 8/7 Central, only on PBS.
A small town in Ohio pressed pause today as the remains of one of the 13 U.S. service members killed in last month's terrorist attack at the Kabul airport has been returned to his home in Northeast Ohio. Navy Fleet Marine Hospital Corpsman 3rd Class Maxim Soviet's body landed today at Hopkins Airport in Cleveland, where thousands lined the streets to pay their respects during their procession to his hometown of Berlin Heights from the airport. The 22-year-old will be awarded a posthumous Purple Heart Medal, according to a statement from the U.S. Navy. His rank was also advanced from Corpsman to Hospital Corpsman 3rd Class. Soviak's funeral is scheduled for Monday at his high school football stadium, where 3,000 people are expected to come in honor of the fallen soldier. New York Governor Kathy Hochul visited the 9/11 memorial Wednesday, 3 days before the 20th anniversary of the terrorist attacks. Former Mayor Michael Bloomberg joined her. New York City officials say they have not uncovered any credible or specific threats for the 9/11 ceremony on Saturday. Even so, the New York Police Department will be out in force across the city to make sure everything is secure.
Even on the corner, 2 brothers joined. One was NYPD, one was FDNY. And those may not know this, but the mayor actually personally made sure that families were kept together on this memorial. He made sure that such respect was paid to them. And I want to make sure he gets the recognition for that, for me personally and for all New Yorkers and all those from around the world who come to this site. That this was a labor of love.
Nearly 20 years to the day the U.S. was attacked on our own soil. On this anniversary, the events of 9/11 may cause more distress in many Americans, with feelings of sadness, grief, and anxiety. And there's a name for that. It's called the anniversary effect. Mandy Gather has more on how to cope in today's Health Minute.
It's one of those defining moments in time that changed the way that we think about the world.
20 years ago, the day America was attacked. As we count down to September 11th, the memories and the images may be overwhelming.
It really does hit you harder, especially when they're round number or big number anniversaries.
It's called the anniversary effect, an increase in distress around a traumatic event. Ken Yeager, director of the Stress, Trauma, and Resilience Program at Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, says this 9/11 anniversary may be even more troubling, especially with the turmoil in Afghanistan. If you're struggling to cope, Yeager says acknowledge those feelings, talk to someone you trust.
All of these are naturally occurring emotions, and rather than trying to avoid them, it's probably more important to name them and to call them out.
With 9/11 and in any tragic situation, Yeager says using coping skills can help.
Taking a walk, giving yourself time to sit and take a few deep breaths until you work through this, or just actually doing something to commemorate the tragic losses that occurred on that day.
And as a new generation is exposed to 9/11, Yeager says to remember to talk to your children, help them work through any feelings that may come up. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The FBI continues to look for answers as they release new footage of the suspect who planned a pipe bomb on the night of the riots at the Capitol. That story is still ahead.
Rain has come and gone in our area, but what is the likelihood of a pop-up shower later tonight? I'll talk about this in my full weather segment, but for now let's take a look at stocks of local interest.
Before they were born, they lost their fathers in the tragedy of 9/11.
Why did he have to go to work that specific day?
They came of age in a time of social unrest.
It definitely took a toll.
Forged by loss and resilience, PBS traces 7 young lives as they carve their own paths in an ever-changing America.
I feel motivated to make a difference.
Generation 9/11 premieres Tuesday, August 31st at 9/8 Central, only on PBS.
Week 4 of Gridiron Glory marks the start of conference play for many teams around our coverage area. We'll be seeing highlights from Vinton County at Meigs, Trimble at Waterford, and John Glenn at Sheridan. All 3 games will show who will be lifting conference championship trophies in the TVC Ohio, TVC Hawking, and the MVL. These highlights and more on Gridiron Glory on Friday night at 11:30, only on WOUB.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains.
I told witch doctor I was in love with you. I told witch doctor I was in love with you. And then the witch doctor, he told me what to do. He said, ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, ting-tang, wah-wah-bing-bang. Ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, ting-tang, wah-wah-bing-bang.
Lively performances where old tradition meets new here on Song of the Mountains.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes.
Just give me one thing I can hold on to believing is living is just a hard way to go.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Newswatch, everybody. If you look over here, the hazardous outlook that I briefly mentioned earlier, it affects you in these counties highlighted in that yellow color. So just keep an eye out for that, those high winds and high rainfall counts. As you can see right here, this stretch of clouds in the visible satellite image will highlight that low pressure system that has just moved into our area and quickly is moving out later into tonight. In Athens tonight, hour by hour, it's going to be 67 degrees at 8 p.m., but clouds are going to linger, and then at 63 degrees at 10 p.m., humidity will rise and temperatures will drop, allowing the skies to clear. It's going to be 60 degrees at midnight tonight. Athens tonight's going to hit a low of 55 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy at the beginning with a possible pop-up shower. Chilly temperatures are going to creep, as you can see, by this mid-50s range. And the winds are going to come from the southwest direction at 0 to 5 miles per hour. Looking at the interactive radar tonight, you can see right here is that low pressure, that cold front has moved out of our area, but that pop-up shower will be seen by this little patch right here in Chillicothe. It's going to move this way towards the east. Across the region tonight, it's going to have some very similar temperatures to Athens in the mid to low 50s. It's going to be 54 in Jackson, 52 in Chillicothe, 55 in Columbus, and then it's going to be warmer towards our east with 57 degrees in New Martinsville and 55 degrees in Marietta. The hour by hour tomorrow, it's going to be 56 at 8 in the morning, and so it's going to be a very cool start to our day, contrary to what we're used to. 63 degrees at 10 in the morning, but humidity is going to decrease as we head into noon. It's going to be 71 degrees with some spotty clouds. Tomorrow in Athens is going to be a high of 76 degrees. We're going to have slight cloud coverage, but generally very pleasant conditions. Winds are going to come from the northwest direction at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow across the region, we're going to have highs in the mid to high 70s with 77 across the majority of our region, especially towards the south and towards the east as well. The surface features today features this long cold front stretching from the south all the way up to the northern region, up by New York. That's going to be the cause for that rain that you saw earlier today, and some potential showers as we head into the night. Surface features tomorrow, you can see this high pressure system that is going to push towards the east in Ohio and the rest of our viewing area. It's going to bring some very pleasant weather today and for the rest of our week. As you can see, 7-day forecast, you can see that's going to be very sunny for the majority of the week, and temperatures are going to climb as high as 87 degrees early on into next week. On Wednesday, we're going to see a slight chance for showers and thunderstorms at 30%, but generally it's going to be a very pleasant, sunny week. So make sure you take advantage of this and make sure you get outside. Back to you, Nick.
8 months after the attack on Capitol Hill, footage has been released recently about a video of a new suspect for pipe bomb in the area. In the video, you can see the suspect walk down to a park bench and sit down with a backpack in hand. The suspect is wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt and face mask. The person is accused of planting 2 pipe bombs near the Democratic or Republican Party headquarters between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. the night before the Capitol riot. The bombs were discovered the next day around the same time hundreds of pro-Trump supporters stormed Capitol Hill. The FBI says the bombs included galvanized pipes, a kitchen timer, and homemade black powder. The bombs were detonated by robots. Since that attack, the FBI has offered a $100,000 reward, but has still been unsuccessful identifying the suspect. 5 people died as a result of the attack on the Capitol Hill, including a U.S. Capitol Police officer. Multiple other officers were injured. And now, over to Brian with the sports.
Thanks, Nick. Coming up in sports, the Ohio football team goes for its first win of the season on Saturday. Hear from the head coach as the Bobcats prepare for the contest. And right after the break, Ohio field hockey was in action earlier this afternoon. Highlights and reaction from Pruitt Field coming up next on Newswatch. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Coming up on the next Song of the Mountains.
I told which doctor I was in love with you. I told which doctor I was in love with you. And then which doctor, he told me what to do. He said, ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, ting-tang, wah-wah, bing-bang. Ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, ting-tang, wah-wah, bing-bang.
Lively performances where old tradition meets new here on Song of the Mountains.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes.
Just give me one thing I can hold on to believing is living is just a hard way to go.
Look at that guy.
Armed and dangerous.
There's an animal with an incredible weapon.
And fighting for their lives.
Weapons that are used in fighting, the weapons that are big.
How did they evolve this way? And why do only some creatures have them?
Some have these huge, spectacular weapons, and others have nothing at all.
An arms race in the wild.
Wow, look at that, out of nowhere.
Extreme animal weapons on Nova.
Hello everybody, I'm Brian Kirk. Ohio field hockey returns to Pruitt Field this afternoon to take on UC Davis. The Bobcats got on the board first as Caitlin Whittle tallied her second goal of the season in the 3rd minute. It came off the assist from Bodie Littlefield. 1-0 was a halftime score, but in the 3rd, UC Davis tied it with a Mailu core tower goal. Then in the 4th, Audrey Lee found the back of the net for the go-ahead goal. The Bobcats lose to the Aggies 2-1. Coach Allie Johnstone said the Aggies were a different team in the second half.
energy picked up. Obviously they played yesterday, so that's a tough turnaround. So second half they brought a ton of energy and stepped up and stepped in front for the 50-50 balls. You know, we're aiming to possess the ball, move the ball quickly, and be really sharp on our transitions.
Jillian Shive is one of the leaders for the Bobcats. She's back for one more year with high hopes for her final season. Jillian Shive came to OU from Louisville in 2018. She made an immediate impact leading the Bobcats in goals her first season. Shive continued to be one of the Bobcats' top scorers the next 3 seasons. Players are eligible for an extra year because of pandemic disruptions. Shive is still taking classes and had no doubt she wanted to come back.
You know, we love field hockey. We want to play hard, and we want to compete in the MAC and be up there in the top 3 every year. I know we didn't get the ranking that we wanted into preseason poll, but that's not going to stop us. We're going to work even harder to get back on top. Head coach Allie Johnstone is grateful for the leadership Shive brings to the team.
She watches so much film. She analyzes the game. She's a teacher. She teaches them literally how our game works, and she just is always teaching people all over the field, and it's a really good asset to have.
Shive wants to make the most of her last season with the Bobcats.
I don't even want to think about it right now. I've played for like 17 years, so it's crazy. Get some goals and just win some games. You know, I just want to go out on a high and really give it all for my team.
And Johnstone expects Shive to find the back of the net quite a few times.
Yeah, I mean, she's an amazing player. Just let her rip it. Like, go for it. You got nothing to lose. You got an extra year. It's perfect. Just have fun.
Shive and the Bobcats are back in action on Friday as they head to Iowa. The Hawkeyes are the second-ranked team in the country. Ohio football looks for its first win of the season Saturday against Duquesne. The Bobcats fell to Power 5 opponent Syracuse in the opener 29-9. The offense was unable to find the end zone. All their points came from field goals. OU now looks ahead to the Dukes, an opponent in the FCS. Duquesne may not be an ACC school, but head coach Tim Albin thinks they will bring their A-game.
We will be challenged. For me to sit here and say, like Syracuse, come on, I'm not going to do that to you, right? But I know that we will be challenged, and we will have to have play our best game Saturday.
Kickoff on Saturday is set for 2 p.m. I'm Brian Kerp, and that's it for sports. Back over to you, Nick.
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will be an in-person event this year. Macy's made the official call today. Last year, the parade was a TV-only event, limited to performances with no giant balloons or festive floats. Participants this year will be required to show proof of vaccination and have to wear a mask. The 95th annual parade will kick off Thanksgiving morning in New York City. Now over to Erin for a look at our final weather.
Thank you, Nick. I wanted to bring back the image of the interactive radar to really emphasize this little patch of rain up here in our northwestern region that's going to push through, creating that potential for rain showers later this evening. Tomorrow in Athens, a high of 76. It's going to be very pleasant, though, with winds coming from the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then across our region, going to be very mild temperatures around all general region. The whole area is going to be very pleasant for the rest of the week, including. But for now, back to you, Nick.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Veland. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from GOLDSBERRY Wealth Strategies in Athens and Parkersburg, focusing on helping people achieve a life well lived with a custom strategy. Information at goldsberrywealth.com. Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA.